At Let's Tell Their Story, we'd like to advise that some content may contain rape, domestic violence, sexual assault, child abuse, child abduction, and murder. Not all content is suitable for all audiences. Please be advised while listening. Thank you. All right, welcome to Let's Tell Their Story. I'm Casey,
I'm
and
Quentin. Ouch.
I give you a true crime, and Quentin follows us up with some sort of legend or conspiracy or whatnot, whatever he's got up his sleeve this week. And we almost always have a guest appearance by my doggy Pearl, who is making her appearance again today. With mine, I do want to do a trigger warning, and I'm doing a lot of trigger warnings lately, but the case I am doing does involve uh, talks of suicide and dismemberment. Quentin's like, what? Don't worry, there's no decapitation, just dismemberment. So I have part of this scripted out, and the other part I'm just going to be flying kind of solo. So forgive me if I don't have all the names. I have the characters, but I don't have all the names in like the police department and stuff like that, or like the attorneys' names and stuff. So I'll just be referring to them as attorney and police, and I'll separate which police because there's two different police departments in this, if you want to call them that.
Oh,
So standing sick, yeah.
and if you do have any issues with suicide, the suicide hotline is 988 or yeah, 988.
Yes, it's 988, and if you feel, we'll put that in the description box or the show notes down below. So I'll get into it. Standing 6'2" and natural athlete, Tiffany Ida May Valiente or Valiant. I've heard it both ways. I'm going to go Valiente just because it looks like that's how it would be pronounced. She was beginning her next chapter in life. She had just graduated from Oakcrest High School in Mays Landing, New Jersey. She was going to be heading off to Mercy College in Dobbs Ferry, New York, the fall of 2015, and she was riding on a full scholarship. She was awarded a scholarship through a volleyball scholarship. She was one of the few people that she would be starting as center in volleyball her freshman year. And a lot of like colleges don't start people off as a starter their freshman year of college. They usually have to wait a couple of years, but that was part of the scholarship. She had played softball up until she got into high school. And when she got into high school, she found a passion for volleyball and just put everything into volleyball. She put her grades in. She was the typical, I'm not going to say typical, she was passionate about volleyball. So she knew she had to keep her grades up and this and that and whatnot. And she had every intention of going into, in her college career, she was going to go into either criminal justice or she was going to go into the Air Force. She was known by her family to be loving, funny, energetic. A lot of the time, unfortunately, it's a old saying. When she came into a room, she lit it up. Tiffany was really maternal, like with her nieces and nephews. She had two older sisters, Jessica and Crystal, from her mom's previous marriage, so they were half sisters. Where did you go? Quentin has disappeared, and I don't know where he went. That was a whole lot of belly.
I may have spilt my soda on my shirt. That's what happened.
Okay, so she in towards the end of 2014, Tiffany had come out to her family as gay. And her parents, Steve and Diane, at first weren't accepting of it, but then they realized there was really nothing they can do about it. They're like, okay, we're gonna accept her. And then they were fine with it. Her parents are Diane and Stephen Valiente. And when Tiffany was born, they weren't expecting to have a child with Crystal and Jessica, her older sister's already part of the families per se. But Steve and Diane, um they were happy to have Tiffany as part of their family. She just they fell in love with her the minute she was born. Now, okay, I don't need my notes anymore because I listened to like 10 hours of podcasts on this yesterday at work. So if I don't know what I'm talking about, it's my own fault. Um, where was I at? Oh, okay, so on July 18th of 2000, no, July 12th of 2000, July 12th of 2015, I think I got that all out. Uh, Tiffany and her family had gone to a family, a cousin of Tiffany's that had just graduated, and they were having a graduation party because everybody knows that graduation parties go from the day after graduation to the first week in August. And you're closer to graduating than I was. Because you've got to be, what,
I graduated
7 years?
graduated in 2019. It's uh,
6 for sure. Anyway, so they're at this graduation party, which was basically right across the street. Because their whole family kind of lived like within walking distance. Um, aunts, uncles, cousins, Tiffany's grandma lived right down the street and whatnot. So they spend the whole day over there. Tiffany is playing volleyball. She's hanging out, uh, swimming, maybe swimming. I'm not sure, but I know she was playing volleyball for sure. About 9 o'clock that night. Now I've heard different sources said different things on what Tiffany had done and how this starts to play out. There was a couple sources said that she went home to take a shower because she had plans with friends later that night. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm going home to take a shower and I've got plans with friends that night, I'm not going to put the same clothes back on that I was wearing earlier, especially if I was playing volleyball. Would you?
it sounds sandy.
Okay. So, well, around quarter to 9, 9 o'clock, Diane, Tiffany's mom, gets a phone call from one of Tiffany's friends, like one of her best friends. And she's like, hey, I'm coming into your house. I'll meet you in the driveway, but we need to talk. Okay, so this friend and the friend's mom show up, and Diane meets them out there. And I want to say the friend's name is Jamie. And so Jamie is just yelling and cursing and chewing Tiffany out, saying, oh, you stole my credit card or my debt. That's the other thing. There's debit card, credit card. It doesn't matter either way. She's accusing Tiffany of stealing it and spending over $300 or charging $300 on it. Tiffany's like, I didn't do it, this, that, whatnot. Well, this rant of Jamie's went on for about 10 minutes, and eventually Jamie and her mom leave. And it's, so Diane actually like defended Tiffany to Jamie's mom. She's like, no, my daughter wouldn't do that. However, after they left, Diane's like, how could you, whatnot? Because just before Christmas, Tiffany had stolen her parents' credit card and racked up charges on it. Well, so Diane's like, all right, we're gonna search your car. Well, in the process of searching the car, Diane noticed that Tiffany had taken something out of the door. I'm gonna assume it's like one of those.
Side
I think
pouches?
every car has.
No, not every
Yeah, the
car
side
has.
pouch. I think every car has
No, it
one,
does
right?
not. I've actually
Okay,
had quite
well,
a few cars that have not had it, but driver's
okay,
side
so
or
I understand.
driver's side or passenger side? Because the passenger side will always have one, but the driver's side does not always have it.
It sounds like it was the driver's side. And Diane notices that Tiffany put something in her back pocket. Well, here it was a friend's card. Again, sources differ on some people say that, hey, the only reason Tiffany had this card was because Jamie had been out drinking one night and she got completely shit faced. And that's what they had done is like, hey, if you need food or whatnot, come to find out, yes, Tiffany had taken the card. Tiffany's alleged excuse for it was Jamie had been drinking, she needed food and whatnot. Well, the charges that Tiffany had racked up on there were only $86 because there was a receipt in Tiffany's bedroom. Oh,
But it's
Diane's like,
food.
okay,
That's
I
not
gotta go in and
much.
get your dad. No, I know. That's a lot of food, but then we're in New Jersey, so $86, like 2 meals, not, I guess that would make sense.
Yeah, but I just was wondering, like, that just sounds way expensive. Because when did this happen?
2015. So but it wasn't, it's been 10 years. It'll be 10 years, July 12th.
Which is actually very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, like very, very soon. It's like almost the 12th today. 12th is in 2 days.
Hey, by the way, did you call your brother yesterday?
I didn't even call Xander.
That's because Xander's isn't till tomorrow.
Oh. Oops, I didn't even know that.
Anyway, so Diane's like, all right, stay here. I'm gonna go get your dad, whatnot. This was at 9:28 p.m. My cats are going apeshit. So Diane goes in, comes out with Steve at 9:29 p.m. Tiffany's gone, completely gone. They go down to the end of the driveway. They look this way, look that way. She is nowhere to be found. I gotta get my cats under control. Be right back.
All right, I'm just testing something. Hmm.
He's the culprit. Okay. So I'm going to send you something once I find it. It's going to be through the phone. I'll send you it by text. But actually, I'm not going to send it right now. I'll send it at the end or when you're doing yours. But there is, so parents come out, Diana and Steve come out at 9:29. Tiffany was seen on their trail/deer cam at 9:28. And this would be the last time Tiffany would ever be seen alive. So first they're like, okay, is she playing it? Like they're like, okay, what is going on? You're looking down the road, nothing. So on this deer cam picture, Tiffany is like walking one way, but she's got her head turned, like she's looking behind her. And there's only one picture that I was able to find. There's multiple of these cameras or trail cam pics. How that you can look up, but there's only one that zoom in on, and which you turn, if you look, it almost looks like there's one headlight coming in her direction. So Steve and Diane are like, okay, well, we're gonna start looking there. Go back to the party. Hey, did anybody see Tiff? She's completely disappeared. They're like, no, we haven't seen her. Okay, now a lot of people say, hey, she's 6'2" female. That's a pretty tall for a female, one. However, if you're driving down the road or you've got somebody in your neighborhood that's that, you don't think twice about it. Because your depth perception when you're driving, somebody, yeah, it could be somebody, oh, wow, that person's tall, but you're not going to notice how tall they are unless you got somebody my height standing next to them.
You're not that short.
I'm only, I just barely make, I don't quite make 5'1". So they're looking around, they're calling Tiff. Now, she is an 18-year-old in 2015. She was glued to her cell phone. Like so glued to the point that she had gotten a waterproof case so she could use her phone in the pool and in the shower. I didn't even know those existed.
They're not good cases.
But she had them. Okay. So she's not answering. She's not answering text. She's not answering. Pearl, get over here. Jesus Christ.
And there's the dog. There goes the pets. The pets are going.
This is so much easier when Bobby's on days because then I can just lock them upstairs. Or I don't have to, don't have to worry about this. I don't want him to wake up. Because he's on 12-hour nights, so. All right, so they're calling her, they're texting her, she's not answering. They've been looking for about 2 hours. Her uncle Michael, it's like he was home on leave from New Jersey State Police Patrol. I didn't know that's how that worked. That their things were like the military and they leaves. But then there's also a source that says he was retired. I don't know. So he goes, he's like, all right, it's been like 2 hours. Steve and Diane call their police department to report her missing. Uh, Michael's going around, goes about 3.5, 4 miles away, thinking, okay, it's been 2 hours. She may have walked far enough. Well, he gets down by the train tracks and there's lights all over the place. Cops are there. They've got it lit up like a Christmas tree. Okay. Well, so Michael gets down there and he's like, hey, what's going on? And the Galloway Police Department is like, hey, someone got hit by a train and it appears to be a female. Michael's like, hey, my niece went missing. Is there any way I can go and see if that, like, after he starts describing his niece, the officer's like, that kind of sounds like the female that was hit. So he's like, all right, if you could come and identify the body. Well, Michael ends up coming and realizing it is Tiff. Michael has said to this day that he is glad it was him and not his brother that had to identify her, because says that if his brother Steve would have had to identify her, it would have killed him. And honestly, any parent, I think that would be, what are you looking at? Because it's really annoying. Oh, okay. Anyway, so you're gonna have to cut a lot of anyways and so's out of this one. Uh Now you would think that he's talked to the Galloway Police Department. Well, they're not in charge of the investigation. The New Jersey Transit, the railway. These people are not equipped to deal with a death. That's all I'm going to say, is a death at this moment. Okay. So in that, I brought that trail cam picture up for a reason, because in that camera she is wearing a pair of white canvas shoes that were brand new. On the 12th was the first day she wore them. The ones she's wearing are similar to Hey Dude's. A pair of light blue shorts that almost look white, and a black shirt that looks gray in the picture. Very important details. She's got her hair up in a bun and she's wearing a white headband. When they start to process the scene, the transit police, which are basically the train the train police, the police for the train tracks. Because the way that sounded like they were trading police, but no, it's the police for the train track.
So pretty much
Um,
security.
I would say they're one step above security.
Armed security guard.
Yeah, basically. And all right, they're processing the scene. They collect all of Tiff's body parts. She, according to the autopsy report, her limbs had been cut off. Excuse me. It sounds like they were clean cuts, but there's some discrepancy in clean cut on the way the conductors say what happened, because there is 3 different stories, because of course there's 3 different stories. Uh, Transit police asked the conductors what happened. It was a student conductor and a main conductor. At first, their stories were that Tiffany had just jumped out in front of the train. A couple days later, under oath, they said that they didn't see her until they were on top of her. I don't know. I asked you a question.
Sorry, I didn't hear it. My iTunes like popped up and I couldn't get it off.
Oh, did you know that trains have a black box just like airplanes?
Actually, I did.
Okay, so the train, the black box, they get the black box to wherever, and the horn was never blown. Now, the transit police, within 24 hours, pretty much closed the case and said it was a suicide. Now, we need to back up a little bit to November of 2014. Tiffany had gone to school. She had some bruising on her arm. Teacher got concerned, called the DYCF. Basically, it's our CP or our Child Protective Services. It's Department of Youth, Children, and something in New Jersey. Anyway, so they go in and Diane and Tiff are like, hey, it's just normal mother-daughter stuff. Diane's like, hey, I've been on edge. I'm probably going through menopause. I've been really edgy. And then that was also when the whole thing with Tiff taking their credit card or debit card happened. So they had to go to counseling. And when she's asked, hey, are you depressed? She says no. Now, it's questionable whether Diane was in the room when she was asked this question, because if you're feeling depressed and you've got a counselor asking you this and your parents there, are you going to come out and say, hey, I'm feeling depressed. I feel like I might do some harm to myself? No, you're not. You might, but you're a different breed.
Me? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you. Okay, so the Galloway Police Department, they and Michael, Tiffany's uncle, go back the night this happened, because this was about 11:07 or 11:14. I've heard both things on time on when the train hit her. Okay. So they go back to Steve and Diane's. And Michael ends up being the one to tell his brother and sister-in-law Tiffany's passed away. I don't know why the Galloway Police Department didn't do it, because it should have been them to do the notification, not the uncle. However, I think it was just because of the fact that, my personal opinion, the reason they had him do it is because he's the one that identified and he was close with the family. But that's just my personal opinion. And like I said, they didn't know what had happened until the next day. They knew that she had been hit by a train, but they thought she was in a vehicle that had gotten hit by a train. The next day, they find out by social media that She committed suicide by jumping in front of the train. However, when they took her body from the tracks. Now, remember what I said what she was wearing
Yeah.
when she disappeared from the house?
Yeah.
Those on the tracks. She was in a pair of black panties and a sports bra. Where are her shoes? Where are her shorts? Where's her? They did find her shirt, but it was mangled or tore apart. So it's hard to say if it was on her and the train mangled it or if it was mangled in the process. And the coroner or medical examiner, different coroner, medical examiner, two different people. As I've been doing this podcast, I've discovered they are two totally different people. Medical examiner actually has to have schooling. A coroner can just be elected by the city. It could be just any random Joe. Because all I got to do is show up at a scene and say, yep, that person is dead, and this is the time I'm calling it. That is all a coroner has to do. And then a lot of times they might have to pick up the body and get it to the medical examiner. Anyway.
And there is a few other things I have to do that does require a few classes.
But that's the gist of it. But that's the gist. So.
They also get paid pretty well.
Oh, yeah, they do. So, medical examiner basically autopsy report says that the limbs had been cut off, which I'm going to say if that's the case, it has something to do with the wheels on the train. At her, just a heads up to the audience or our listeners, this is going to get graphic for about a minute and a half. So if you want to skip ahead, I get it. Her brain had been exposed. Her insides were considered exploded. Her organs were brought to the medical examiner in a bag. Her right foot was intact, but her left one was not. And the medical examiner's findings for death were multiple blunt force traumas, but cause of death was suicide. The family did not want to accept this because Tiffany was happy-go-lucky. She didn't show any signs of being depressed, any signs of, I'm glad I moved my computer because it'd be a whole, is there a kitty back there situation again? I moved, I looked over, my curtain's moving. And so, where was I at? Oh, family's not accepting it. They end up hiring an attorney. The attorney, he basically like told everyone, and he backs this up. He's like, yeah, I thought I was gonna look at everything, and I was just gonna come back, feel bad, and tell the family, yeah, I'm sorry, but everything looks like it was suicide. And he has said he looked at all the stuff, and he said like something's not right. So he has fought with the family to get this case not so much reopened, but the Valianti family wants the cause of death changed to undetermined so that the case can be reopened and re-examined. However, This is where people get pissed off at police departments and people that don't know what the hell they're doing. Remember that T-shirt that was all torn up?
Yeah.
It was put in evidence. Do you want to know how it was bagged? It was bagged in a plastic bag, and the plastic bag was tied. So they couldn't do anything with forensics on it because it had grown mold. There was an axe that was found not far from the scene. Now, the axe was found a couple days later by the uncle and a cousin that went looking to see, hey, is there anything that the transit police missed? Oh, they missed that. They also missed part of Tiffany because the uncle and cousin found her jawbone. Then just a couple, or like about a week or so later, they had the memorial for Tiffany, and the family had her cremated. Now, you would think a young lady who's 18, got her whole life ahead of her, found on a train track, wearing nothing but her panties and a bra, maybe a rape kit would be a good idea. Nope, because they were quick to jump to suicide. They didn't do that. They didn't scrape under her fingernails or anything. Well, about 2 weeks later, after the dust settled, I guess you could say, it was bad. I've got bad worded lately. And stop. You were outside right before we came down here, and I did that for a reason, so you wouldn't do that. All right. Do you want to make an appearance? Hey, do you want to be seen on camera? Do you want to see on camera? No, you don't. You're being shy today.
She's
Uh,
really being camera shy.
yeah, she is. Normally, she's right up there. Oh, here she comes. Here she comes. Here she comes. She's coming. She's coming.
I just
There
oh
she
there she
is.
is. I was gonna say I just see her tail.
We should almost start calling this Pearl's podcast. Uh, so nothing was done and whatnot. 2 weeks later, Diane's out walking, just trying to clear her head. She's walked this path multiple times. She's walked like the path that she thought Tiffany may have taken because okay, so I forgot to say this. From her house to where she was hit by the train is 4 miles. Roughly 4 miles. And it's not a straight 4 miles. I'm gonna put her out. I'll be back. Jeez, this is going to be a lot of cutting. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I lost my shoes. There.
just to let you know, you live about a mile and a half away from a railroad track.
I know. Okay. So on this walk about a mile into it, Diane notices something. She goes and she looks, and here's Tiffany's shoes. I'll be sending you that picture too. And I'm going to use my slippers as an example. So they're not set down like this. They're like this. Like, so they look like somebody just either tossed them there or Tiffany was pulled out of her shoes. Now, this is where the theories start coming into play.
You said the shoes were canvas. The only shoes that were canvas at that time were Converse, and they were high tops.
No, they're not. They're not the only shoes that were canvas.
Oh, those are the only shoes I remember.
No, because there was canvas shoes that I wore all the time when I was younger, and I think when you were younger, I had a couple pairs of them. Because I'd take the shoelaces out and I just slip those on, but these specific ones look like Hey Dudes. I can't remember the brand, but it starts with an S. That's all I can remember. Anyway. Then a little bit further down, Diane sees Tiffany's headband, a keychain, and a yellow sweatshirt that is not Tiffany's. So she calls the Gallo Police Department. They come and they pick it up. Whatnot. All right. Now, chain of evidence. I actually learned the exact meaning on chain of evidence yesterday. It basically, or chain of command. Is it chain of command or chain? Anyways, where
Wait, chain
evidence
of
gets
command
passed
is
off
like
from
when
one
you're
person to
talking about
another.
like personnel.
Okay. Chain of evidence where it's going from one person to another. Well, this stuff is supposed to be bagged, tagged, marked, who's handled it, what date, time they handled it. Well, the evidence wasn't unlike that. It was basically Gallo police went to the transit police and said, hey, we got this for you. So they can't do anything with it. Okay. However, that keychain went missing. The axe that had red markings on it that does look like blood has gone missing. How do these things just go missing? Not the first case that I've covered where things have gone missing either. I just think some people just don't want to do their job. But that's just my personal opinion, so don't come after me. Now, a while later, it's some sources say it was a deli, some people say it was a Wawa. I don't know what that is. It's some sort of not a gas station, but like some sort of place you can go get food. It must be a New England thing. And I'm wondering if it's not like our A&W.
A&W is
But
nationwide.
okay, whatever.
I'm thinking
Quick Trip's
Culver's.
not.
I'm thinking Culver's. It might be like a
Oh,
Culver's.
there's a Culver's in Florida.
Just recently.
but there's a Culver's in Florida. Anyway, let's go back to Tiffany. Okay, this manager at this, I'm just going to say deli, overheard some coworkers say saying that they heard rumors that Tiffany was taken out into the woods and she was stripped and she was made a fool of, more or less. Because just because her parents were accepting that her sexuality was gay, kids at school weren't so nice about it, that some of the girls made comments that, oh, if you're gay, then I want to experiment. And then there's also the friend and the credit card. Did the friend have something already planned ahead of time if things didn't go her way? And that's why Tiffany disappeared in under. But these three boys are saying that they heard this and whatnot. Well, when the deli manager's like, okay, I'm going to the cops about this. Oh, the boys are taken in to be questioned. All three of them denied ever hearing it, ever saying it, or anything. Uh-oh.
You said they couldn't figure out what gas station because Del Delta and Wawa are both gas stations in New Jersey.
Okay,
And yes, it is spelled WAWA Wawa gas station.
yeah, the cat just did something and I don't know how to get back.
Kitty deciding to try to run the podcast, right?
Yeah. I don't know what he hit, but I've got a hey there tab friend. You can navigate Discord with your tab and arrow keys just fine, but there are some other helpful things we've added. And it said I hit okay and it won't let me go back.
I don't know what you did. Can you
All
not?
right, just give me a second. I might.
Do you see the picture of me anywhere?
Yeah, I can.
Just click on that.
Yeah, I can see you.
Just click on it.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I got you. Okay. Now, how do I go back to my screen that I want?
Did the cat hit F11?
Oh, there we go. Yay, I did it. Yay. The old lady did it. Okay, where was I at? Okay, yeah. They denied everything. To this day, the case of Tiffany Valiente is considered closed because her manner of death was suicide. The family, the attorney, everybody except for, well, it can't even say except for friends because friends refuse to be interviewed. They will not do a docu-series. There was a docu-series on this on Netflix called Mile Marker 45. I want to say that, yeah. You're like, I think I've heard of this.
Yeah, actually, I have. Actually,
I'm actually kind of glad I waited. I'm glad I waited until the end about that. Um, but there is a fight to this day, and there is a I'm drawing a blank. A petition that you can sign, and I'll find the petition and I'll try and get it to Quentin so he can link it down below also. So if you feel like signing it to get Tiffany's manner of death changed from suicide to undetermined, and that's the case of Tiffany Valiente. Was it suicide or homicide, or was it just a freak accident? I just talked for an hour.
Yeah,
I
I
do
know.
so much better if I do so much better if I just listen to things and then just go off my own. I gotta go check on Doggy, so I'll be
Okay.
back.
I got hippos.
I am right behind you. I am right behind you. I am right behind you. Right in front of you.
Yes, I did turn around the first time.
What was your reaction when you heard that? You're like, wait, what?
And I figured you were just messing with me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what do you have for me today?
So I have a pretty much one of the most bizarre urban legends to ever hit the urban legend circuit. It's weird, it's dark, and people don't know if it's actually made up or not. And
Okay.
this is a tale about a circus performer, a dwarf, a trampoline, and a very, very hungry hippopotamus.
I'm very proud of you for being able to say hippopotamus.
I like hippopotamuses. I like
It's
hippos.
hippopotami,
Oh yeah. So you might have
I
heard
think.
the headline hippo eats dwarfs, so let's unpack it.
I have not, except for what you've given me. Hey,
So the story first appeared in the public conscience in the late 1980s, allegedly printed by Las Vegas Sun. It goes like during the circus performance, a dwarf acrobat launches himself from a trampoline and in a freak accident lands straight into the yawning mouth of a hippopotamus that was part of the same act. And the hippo in this version relaxed and closed its mouth and swallowed the poor man whole. And the crowd apparently thought it was part of the act and it paused. Sounds horrifying, ridiculous, and impossible. But the
no, it doesn't. No, okay, sorry to interrupt you, but did you recently hear about the guy that got swallowed by the whale and then got spit back out?
no,
It just happened a couple years ago. Yeah,
but the headline spread like
backwards, shut up.
the headline spread like wildfire. Why can I not say spread?
I'm
So
just glad I got through all my words.
and this is where the urban legend actually begins. Not because the dwarf got eaten by a hippo. So,
Okay.
because journalists and researchers went to looking for the original 1990 or 1988 article in the Las Vegas Sun, nothing. Zinch, nothing, not even a single trace. In fact, there was no legitimate newspaper ever confirming the print of the headline ever happened. The Las Vegas Sun even denied they made even such a story, but it didn't stop the legend from spreading.
Shut up.
It it died down for like about or about a few years, and then it reemerged in 1999 in Thailand, where uh, Padapamalia published a similar story, this time involving a performer named Ode and the hippo named Haida. Again, no real evidence, no photos, no witnesses, no obituary, just the same story with new names and new settings. And like, it's like asking, why do these stories keep popping up? Simply because they're just too weird to ignore. See, if you dig a little deeper, you find a fun twist. One of the earliest confirmed mentions of the story was a National Lampoon, satire magazine known for outrageous fictional headlines. So it's pretty much like Bees Buzz. Have you ever seen a Bees Buzz article thing?
Yes, I have.
They're probably the funniest thing you could ever read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, satire, humor, fake news before fake news became a thing. I just read that and I just realized what it meant. So this tale, like many urban legends, was likely born from a joke that people took serious or wanted to believe because of how wild it sounded. And thinking that it got everyone, a freak accident, a circus, a dwarf, a hippopotamus. It's shocking, it's a tragedy, and let's be honest, it's kind of funny in a messed up way. You're trying to not laugh.
Yeah, a little bit. No, I'm not trying to not to laugh because it's one of those. My first thought is as messed up as it sounded, but when you're talking about this, the first thing that went to my head was the Mandela effect and Ed McMahon with the Publisher Clearinghouse.
Clear it out. When you said that, my first thought was
Oh, no, I remember seeing those commercials as a kid. It was Ed McMahon that had the balloons with the Publisher Clearinghouse, walked right up to these houses and said, "You've won." But apparently, it was not Publishers Clearinghouse.
I'm
And
thinking,
you're like, what the hell is that?
yeah, pretty much. So why do people believe in this stuff? Is it psychology, such that bizarre morbid tales stick in our minds because it triggers emotional response, especially fear or dark curiosity? It's the same reason why we slow down at a car accident or binge watching true crime documentaries or podcasts.
I do that binging thing, so I do research.
Also, urban legends often carry a moral or a caution undertone. In the case, maybe something like circuses acts are dangerous and nature is unpredictable, or even don't trust everything you read.
Or hippos are scary.
That's too, but actually, I'm going to say circus acts are way more dangerous than people realize. There has been way more deaths of circus acts going wrong than anybody realizes.
Oh, I believe that.
Like, there was these two brothers that get eaten by their own tiger.
Wow.
In the age before social media, fact checking the story spread from word of mouth, sketch tabloids, and reprinted blurbs with no sources became a part of our culture. Mythology like Bigfoot, Chupacabra. I can never say this one's name. Chupacabra.
Oh, true. Chupacabra.
But instead, but incest but insists of forests and farms. This one lives under the big top. Big top. So what she just said, hippos are actually way more terrifying than people realize. The only animal to there's the only animal that has a higher body count than hippos is humans ourselves. Like hippos are terrifying. They are that they may look fat, but that's all muscle. They are so muscly that they can't swim. They just sink to the bottom of the water. I get to go on I get to go on a hippo ramp. Yay. Are you okay there? I guess when somebody's having problems with headphones. Were you able to get your headphones fixed?
Just give me a second. I don't have you.
Ah.
Okay,
Okay.
I just switch ear things.
So I was going with like hippos are way more terrifying than they should be because they may look like a big blubber, but they're not. That's all muscle. Like they can't, for one thing. You might see them in water, but they're not swimming. They're just touching the ground because hippos can't actually swim. They're too heavy to swim. They just bounce in the water. I might have a brother that might be a hippo. Are you okay there?
Yep, I'm gonna keep my comments to myself.
And most people think like, okay, hippos are normally in water, and would think that would be safe if you don't go in the water, because hippos are more territorial than even oh my god, what like even worse than army ants. Like they are the most territorial animal on the planet.
Oh no, my dog's pretty territorial about a chair.
No, hippos are
Like
even,
I can sit there and she pushes me out.
but see the hippo but no, hippos also, most people think they would be safe if they run on land. Hippos can run about, if I remember right, about 60 kilometers on land.
Are you gonna revert that into American language?
Give me 2 seconds. I just
I
remember.
should say American and New Zealand language.
Give me 2 seconds to remember what that actually was.
I want to say it's like 35 miles an hour. I'm just seeing how close I am.
38 miles an hour. So
Apparently, I know how to translate
and then in the
distance.
and then in the water, it's almost 70 kilometers an hour. So almost like 40. Hippos are fast.
How do they do that in the water? Have you ever tried running in the water? It doesn't work.
Hippos, like I just said, hippos don't swim. They're all that blubber you see on them is all muscle.
I get that. But have you ever tried running in water?
Yes. But we also have 2 legs, not 4.
So okay, valid point. Oh, come here. Come here.
And then I get to go on my hippo ramp because I actually like hippos a lot, but they are also like one of the most dangerous animals on the planet. Where the only animal
Okay.
that has a higher body count than a hippopotamus are humans. Hippos kill about the only other animal that reaches that's below hippopotamuses would be elephants. And then cows. You're like, wait, what are with all these vegetarian animals being so dangerous?
No, I get the hippo and I get the elephant, but where does the cow come in?
Cows kill more people than sharks.
Because they're out in the road and people hit them with their cars?
It's the same thing with like deer. No, it's not like deer.
No, you hit a cow, you're hitting a brick wall.
But a hippo is. So here's the scary thing about a
Come here. You
hippo.
want to say hi to? You want to say hi to people?
So 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 hippos have so a crocodile or an alligator. I need to remember what this actually is. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, there. That's how you spell crocodile. So a crocodile can bite down about 37,000 psi. Bite down, but they can't open up their mouths more than 12 psi. That's why when you see a crocodile, they will always have their mouths taped shut. They can't open their mouths. A hippo has 1,800 pounds of psi pressure down and pretty much the same opening. Yeah. Hippos are scary. And then their teeth are also yikes. This deals nothing with the hippos, but just one other animal that is pretty much I would go a rant on with orcas have a 19,000 bite force.
Isn't an orca just a killer whale?
Yes. Or I might go into an orca episode probably next week because orcas are mean, like beyond
Hey,
vicious.
yeah. You need to do me a favor. You need to like go and look through because not everything's uploading.
Oh yeah, I know. I need to do that. Hippos are actually the most dangerous, like aggressive animal in Africa. Like they top the crocodiles and lions.
And I'm gonna say they top them. If you were to combine the lions and crocodiles, they don't come even close to the hippopotamus.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, they are bruto to the point, like, they can bite off car doors easily.
I need a pet hippo for demolition time.
And then also, if you're looking at the video, a hippo's teeth are huge. Like, they're not like just like small. Like, they are pretty much
The depiction we always get, we always think they're just little nubs.
yeah. Like my thing behind me, those teeth are dulled down compared to an actual hippo's teeth.
Yeah, and that's what we would normally see is something like that.
Yeah.
Like it almost looks like a little nub of teeth.
Yeah, you can just go add like another 5 inches to that. That's what that is. Okay, and
So it's like, oh, what cat is that?
saber tooth.
A real cat?
Saber tooth
Are
tiger.
those,
Saber tooth tiger from Ice Age.
what did you just?
That's a saber tooth.
Those still exist?
No, they do not exist.
That's why I said a real one.
It is a real cat. They just don't exist anymore.
I know. I think I'm thinking of jaguars. Don't they have
Jaguars?
that too?
No.
You
Saber
sure?
tooths were the last ones to have. Does any cats?
I think you're wrong. Oh my God, we're both doing the exact same thing.
No, it's just it's normal for some cats to do that, but it's not. They're canine teeth. You're talking about.
How is that possible?
Here.
Well, apparently put big guards and the NFL team shows up.
I'm going to show you guys a hippo. This is the teeth for a hippo. They are, yeah, that's a hippo's teeth. Okay, now talking about the scary parts of hippos, I'm actually going to talk about something that's actually really cute. There, there was in 2024 a baby Enigma hippo named Modine. It's Thai, so I can't actually pronounce its name.
Modine.
Yes, was born in
Modine.
the Kawaii Open Zoo, and instead of swallowing a circus performer, it actually became an internet star because of being a pie night. Okay, the word I'm trying to say is the hippo was born as a with dwarfism. So it's a very little hippo.
Okay. That is kind of funny.
But it's a little hippo. So there you
It's
have
the baby.
there
It's
you
just the
have there you have it on
baby.
the
It's
hippo.
just the baby.
There you have it on the Hippos Eat Dwarfs urban legend, a weird mix of satire, misreported, and the internet's love of bizarre.
Wow.
I may have gone on a rant about hippos.
I did not see that coming.
I may have gone on a rant.
I did not see any of that coming.
Yeah, I like hippos.
Yeah. You know what? Good storytelling. I like this one. It's one of your better ones. You're getting better at this. Not one of my best, but you're getting better. Oh,
Send me the images.
oh, yeah. Are we done recording?
Give me 2 seconds.
We gotta close it out.
Oh, yeah.
Close it out. Thanks for watching, listening. Like, subscribe, leave a review, leave a comment. It would really help us out, and it would really, really help right now because I'm not even sure if I'm gonna have a job after today. So, really would help.
And don't let the hippos chase
See
you.
you next time. Stay safe.
And be curious.